We thank you, Lord, for your hand being upon our lives. We thank you, Lord, for making crooked places straight. We thank you for healing in our bodies. We thank you for fighting against us as it pertains to the tormenting spirits. Lord, we thank you that the spirit of oppression, depression, and suicide will not have dominion over us. We thank you, Lord, for standing in the gap, protecting us against every fiery dart of the wicked one. In Jesus' name, pray amen. Thank you. We will be reading from 4 passages of scripture on today. 1 Peter 4:12, Job 14:1, Psalm 55:22, and Psalms 27:5. That's 1 Peter 4:12, Job 14:1, Psalm 55:22, and Psalms 27:5. 1 Peter 4:12 reads as follows: Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you. Job 14:1 says, Man that is born of a woman is a few days and full of trouble. Psalm 55:22 says, Cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. Psalm 27:5 reads as follows: For in the time of trouble he shall hide me in his pavilion. In the secret of his tabernacle shall he hide me. He shall set me upon a rock. Our subject today is when you are desperate. When you are desperate. When one is desperate, it is seen as a last ditch or lasting resort. These 4 passages of scripture let us know that life is filled with issues, but there is a hope. The hope is based on what we decide to do about the issues we're dealing with. We can either accept what life is offering, or we can do something about it. Many of us are accepting what life is offering, which brings us to ask the following questions. Are we happy? Are we complete? Are we satisfied? Are we fulfilled? Have we reached our destiny? Amen. If the answer to these questions is no, then our solution might be tied to how desperate are we to achieve those things. These scriptures are divided into 2 parts. The first part is 1 Peter 4:12 and Job 14:1, which tells us that as a people, we're going to find ourselves going through some things which may not be favorable towards us. Amen. We are told we should not be surprised or amazed by the various situations we are forced to deal with in life. We are all going to find ourselves dealing with something. You may not like the something, but we're all going to deal with it. And you're not dealing with it by yourself. Because while you're going through something, the person next to you is going through something, and the person across the street is going through something. No matter where you are, somebody is going through something. So he said, don't act like it's. You must understand. The second part of Psalms second part deals with Psalms 55:22 and Psalms 27:5, which tells us there is a hope.
There's a hope. That's it. Thank you.
What we find ourselves going through does not have to be our destiny.
Amen.
We can reject what the enemy and life is offering us by turning to God.
Amen.
God is our hope when dealing with the attacks of the enemy and life. What better covering we can have than God himself?
Amen.
So in life we can be looking for a covering, or we can looking for a hope. But he said your true hope is in God. Not the enemy. Amen. Our hope is in God. We must not accept what life is offering us. We must fight back. Nor can we allow ourselves to become complacent or lazy. We fight back with God and not without him. For every issue the enemy and life has placed before us, God has made a way of escape, or a way of being able to handle what we find ourselves going through. Amen. Being free from the snares of the adversary will not be without a cost. We are going to have to fight. The problem we seem to have with fighting is the fact that it requires us to surrender all to God. And as a people, we don't want to surrender all to God. We like being in control. We like being in control. We like being able to say jump and somebody jumps. We say hop, we want to see them hop.
Yes, yes.
God says in our situations, you have to put me in control.
Yes.
So I can handle what you're dealing with.
Amen.
But we are stubborn people.
Yes. All right.
We don't want to put all our power in God because we don't know what God is going to ask us to surrender to. Or what He's required us to do. And so we may do it half. I'm desperate, so I'll give you a little bit, but we don't go all in. We say we are desperate, but how desperate are we if we don't want to do it God's way?
Help us, Father.
God says go left, we go right. God says go right, we go left. Yep. God says go forward, we go back. That's right. But we're desperate. We're desperate. And we want out what we're in. So I'm crying, I'm praying, God, help me. Help me. Help me. And God is simply saying, if you're truly desperate, you'll do it my way.
Okay.
Being desperate may mean we're going to have to spend more time fasting. Amen. Or praying, or reading God's word. Right. Things that we should like to do as believers. Amen. However, we seem to have a problem doing that. But we're desperate. And God is saying, if you're desperate, do what desperate people do. Get in my face and let me and show me how desperate you are. Being desperate tries to get more and a little bit more in God's face. You know, it's more than that 1 minute prayer. Something I could do now, you're going to do a 2 minute prayer. You were satisfied with the 1 minute prayer, thinking that's it. No, if you're desperate and you want out, you got to spend some more time with it.
Okay, more time.
We will have to start doing some things that we were not doing before. as well as stop doing some things that were hindering us from being victorious. So, you may have to stop watching TV all throughout the night without spending some time in prayer.
Yes. Yes.
I know you like TV, but if you're desperate, then it requires you to do something that desperate people do.
Yes.
You want out, you want victory, but do what you need to do. Because we are not desperate, the enemy keeps gaining territory that does not belong to him.
Well, you see.
Because through our actions, we are showing the enemy that we're really not desperate. And so the enemy is allowed to gain a foothold as it pertains to our spiritual, physical, and financial walk or life. Are we giving the enemy or allowing the enemy to have more of us than he deserves? Because if he's attacking you spiritually, or he's getting the spiritual foothold in your life, and he's getting the financial foothold in your life, and he's getting the physical foothold in your life, that means he's running our life. Why are we as believers allowing the enemy to dictate every step of our lives? He is telling us how we're going to live and what we're going to accept rather than relying on or going after what God has planned for our lives. Right? So we have a choice. We can either let God dictate our lives, or we can let the enemy dictate our lives. When the enemy dictates our lives, we find ourselves at a point of going through some stuff that we really don't want to go through. But we're allowing him to have free reign to do what he wants. While we sit on the side crying to God saying, help me. We don't seem to be desperate enough. Because desperate people do desperate things.
For sure.
They're not easily satisfied with the way things are. Being desperate requires us to think outside the box. I mean, there's got to be a better way than this. We have to go beyond the logic and the normal. Being desperate means we have to do what we have to do. Even though we may not feel like doing, we got to do it anyway. We're not going to allow anything to stop us from reaching our desired goal. The enemy is trying to take us out spiritually, physically, and financially. And he's attacking each of those areas. The enemy works on us until he is able till we become defenseless. He breaks us so that we will not be able to see the purpose of using the power we have at our disposal.
Well,
the enemy breaks us by attacking us in succession. One incident after another without giving us much of a break. The attacks are so fierce that instead of us fighting back, we succumb or become overwhelmed by what we find ourselves facing. It is similar to what Job went through in the book of Job, one attack after another. But when the enemy attacks us, he attacks us again spiritually, he attacks us physically, and he attacks us financially, each with the same intensity. He messes with our minds and our thoughts. He tells us there is no hope. He tells us why believe God? Why have faith? Why trust that God is going to take you out of this? He brings us to a place of complacency where we accept what we're going through. We accept being sick. We accept having financial issues. We accept having our spiritual relationship with God altered. We are not desperate if we haven't made any changes. When you're desperate, you do what you got to do to accomplish what you need to accomplish. The enemy tries to soothe us or desensitize us to the things that are going on around us.
Well,
if he makes what we're going through seem normal, he knows that we will not put up a fight or resist what is going on around us. A simple example of this is, oftentimes when they say you get old, you might find yourself dealing with a whole lot of illness. And what happens is, because that statement goes out, when you get old and you start feeling or seeing that you're having different type of ailments, you say, if you become, it's like, okay, it's the norm.
right.
I got old, I started to feel this stuff. So we accept what he put out there. And we say we don't receive what he says, but the question is, what are you doing about it?
Yeah. What?
Are you desperate enough to say, I refuse to accept that? Or do we have open arms and say, I accept it with open arms? How desperate are we? The enemies are so strategic with his attack that he, as believers, he first attacks us financially. He says, if I work on your finances, I'll work on it slowly. To the point where when you're going through financially, you accept what it is. Like, okay, it's the norm. We are all going to go through some financial stuff. So it's like, okay. So, bounce a check here or there. You can bounce a check, so it happens. Don't have enough to pay to buy groceries this week. It's normal. People who don't go, they don't always have the money to pay to go groceries. So it just happens.
It happens.
And then what happens is, it happens one time, then it happens another time. Then it happens another time. So now we become desensitized to financial issues.
Yes.
It becomes normal.
It's the norm.
We're going to go through this. Norm.
That's what we said.
Then after he attacks you financially, he works on you physically. Physically, you find yourself dealing with an ailment, and with that ailment you say, you know, I can deal with it, and you deal with it. You don't go to the doctor, you don't do anything about that. You say it's normal. then it becomes part of your lifestyle. You know, you just got that ailment. It's just like, hey, part of my life. You don't do anything about it. As long as I'm able to get where I need to get, it's all right. So we accept it. Then we have those issues where we go to the doctor and they give us a pill, and the doctor says you need to take this pill in order to live or to function, and so we take the pill. And then what we don't realize, the doctor said something that you're going to need this pill to live or to function. And so we accept what he said. Okay, I need this to function. He threw that out there. We accept what he says, and it's like, okay, I need this. In order for me to function, I need this. It's normal. It becomes like this the way it is. Then let's look at the spiritual aspect. I used to spend a lot of time in prayer, but now, you know, instead of me spending an hour in prayer, I may spend 5 minutes in prayer. It's normal. You know, something happened. I didn't mess up my schedule, so it happened one day, but then one day turns into 2 days, and then 2 days turns into 3 days. Then it comes to a point where, you know, I'm not praying at all. I used to be on time in church, but now I don't even go to church at all. You know, slowly but surely, I don't mind missing a Sunday after one Sunday after that. Matter of fact, some of us today, society, we say, you know what, I'll watch it on video.
Yes, sir.
You know, I'll just go on the internet later on. The service will be right there. It's all right. You know, that's the new age. I call that, I guess, internet church. They think it's all right. You know, I'll just go, I'll get what I need on the internet. He does things slowly. So our relationship with God is slowly not being where it is. It ought to be. But while we're watching this, and we know where we need to be financially, we know where we need to be physically, we know where we need to be spiritually, but the question is, are we desperate enough to do anything about it?
See that?
So financially, when I say I'm desperate, what do I need to do? I need to first look at my finances, see how things are working out. Why are my finances out of order? Start seeing, well, I can't spend all my money everywhere I want to buy.
That's right, that's right.
I can't get my paycheck on Friday and have it spent by Friday.
That's right.
I can't go everywhere I feel like I want to go.
Right.
Just because I have the money here, the money is for the rent or the mortgage. When I go somewhere with that rent or mortgage money, what's going to happen? The rent or mortgage money will get paid. I can't buy that $500 watch or whatever watch is. Or that clothes, or that, matter of fact, the sneakers used to be $200 sneakers. I couldn't understand if I should have wanted that $200 sneakers.
I can't.
Sometimes you gotta make a sacrifice.
Oh, yes.
How desperate are you to come out of what you in financially?
Yes.
Sometimes you can't hang with the Joneses.
That's right. That's right.
The Joneses have what you don't have.
Oh, yes.
When you stop making what the Joneses have, then you start doing what the Joneses do. Let's look at the finances. Let's look at the physical.
That's right.
How desperate are you physically?
Yes.
The doctor tells you, if you do this, you won't be subject to this sickness or this ailment.
Okay.
But instead of making adjustments, we continue to live life the way we want to live.
That's right. Mr. Point.
I started last year, December, I started going to the gym because I'm already skinny as it is. But I realized that as people get older, they sometimes get a belly.
See that?
So I started to say, in order for me to keep myself physically in shape, I would go to the gym and specifically use those get on those machines that deal with the abdominal
Right.
areas,
So you don't get a
so that I can get a nice six-pack.
Go, Pastor.
It's actually, even though you may not think it's there, it's actually there. It's not completely defined as it should be.
But it's there.
But it's there.
That's right, Pastor. But it's there.
But let's look at this story because 3 weeks ago, I started slacking up going to the gym.
Okay.
And I said to myself, you know, if you want a six-pack,
You gotta go to gym.
you're going to have to make an adjustment relative to your gym time.
Yeah.
Because if I stop going to the gym, my six-pack is going to go away. So I have to do something about it. How desperate am I if I refuse to go to the gym?
Yeah.
How desperate are we to get our physical healing or delivered if we refuse to do what we need to do?
Yes.
And understand, as believers, God didn't call us to be subject to this pill and that pill.
That's right. That is true.
Why are we as believers dealing with sugar diabetes and this and that and arthritis and all that stuff?
Help me,
The
Lord.
devil is a liar.
Yes.
But how desperate are we to get our healing?
How?
Are we bringing our issue to Christ and saying, Lord, you know what I'm dealing with. I need you to heal my body. Every cell, every organ, every tissue, let line up to your word. And as we pray on one end, we got to do something on the other end. Because you got to be disciplined to do something.
Yes.
Sometimes when I go to the gym or even walk around the park, I see a lot of big people. And I'm saying to myself, there's a problem here.
Okay, Pastor.
The problem is that you're in the right place.
Yes.
Walking around the park and in the gym is what you need to be doing.
Yes.
But the flip side is, when you leave the gym, what are you doing? Because if you're in the gym to lose weight or to become physically fit, that means when you leave the gym, you can't eat anything you want to eat.
That's right.
Because when you in January you were big,
Yes.
in December you can't be the same big as you were in January.
Yes.
And be going to the gym
Yes.
or walking around the park. How desperate are you? Spiritually, we want God to do some miraculous things in our life, but the question is, if you don't spend time with God, how can God work on you? How will we as believers have power from on high if we fail to activate that power from on high? We don't get anointed power. We don't spend time with God. Moses showed us how to get power with God. You have to spend time with Him. You have to put down the plate. You have to get in His face. You have to read the Word in order to get power from on high. When we get power from on high spiritually, it will affect us physically and financially. Because we're getting direction straight from God. How desperate are we? When you're desperate, you'll do what desperate people do. We can talk about being desperate. We can say we're desperate. But until you do it, you're not desperate at all. You're going through the motions, but motions is not, it's not enough. When you're desperate, you will do something.
Yes, yes, yes.
Today, you're dealing with some financial issues,
Yes.
you're dealing with some physical issues, and you're dealing with some financial issues. But no matter what issues you're dealing with, when you're desperate, God says, be desperate
Be desperate.
and do something. Do what you know what you're supposed to do.
That's right.
Not what you're not supposed to do.
No.
Because in this day and age, the enemy wants us to be satisfied with the status quo. He doesn't want us to do anything, but he wants us to accept everything.
Yeah.
But when you're desperate, you'll tell the enemy and you'll tell life, that's enough. Your reign is over. You will no longer dictate to me how I'm going to live. God's going to dictate to me how I'm going to live my life.
Well, you see.
Now, this process of sacrifice and surrendering to God is not going to be easy. But, as someone said, inch by inch. The more you continue to move in the right direction, the closer you're going to get to putting things in order. But if you refuse to move, you can cry all you want. Nothing is going to happen for the better. When you're desperate, you will do what desperate people do. And when we get desperate in certain areas of our life, we don't care what we got to do, we're going to do it. But God says, when you're desperate, take me with you, and the sky is the limit.
Amen.
We can be bullied by the enemy, or we can start bullying the enemy and putting him under our feet. We today, God says, how desperate are you? When you're desperate, you'll do something about it. When you're desperate.